Charles Oliveira is coming out and talking about what happened in his fight with Islam Makhachev. Why did he come out differently than ever before? Why was he so aggressive trying to knock him out? We have one answer to that. Oliveira is saying that he made a huge mistake going into that fight, and he's not going to make the same mistake the second time. The mental warfare got to him. He got very emotional fighting Islam, and by his words, he says that he didn't even compete at 10% of his abilities because of how emotional he was. And we could look at it as an excuse, right? Islam was definitely the better fighter, which he even says Islam was better that night. But there is something that connects here when Oliveira says that. He did fight differently than before. He's always an aggressive fighter, but he's not a reckless aggressive fighter. Looking at his fight with Beneil Dariush, looking at his fight with Kevin Lee, look at his fight with David Tamer, with Tony Ferguson, with Dustin Poirier, even with Justin Gaethje, he just doesn't move his head from punches. But in the Islam fight, he was overextending with his own shots. He was overextending with his own offense. He was trying to knock him out without setting things up as well as he's always done. So it does connect him being emotional going into the fight. Credit to Islam and Khabib and his camp for winning the mental warfare battle. They got to the champion's head, and because of that, Oliveira fought a bit differently, reckless to what he usually does. But this is everything that Oliveira says. So quote, "That's the only fight I talked crap. The fight against Islam. I made a mistake. I won't make that mistake again. We can only make mistakes once in life. When you make a mistake once, you don't do it a second time. Otherwise, you'll go down non-stop. I won't do it again." If you look at all of my fights, you'll see that night I didn't fight 10% of what I can do. Not a hater, not an analyst that is constantly saying crap, but people that understand fighting. If you watch everything I've said for all of my fights, the only one where I've gone a little bit out of the norm and said some things was the one against Islam, and I won't make that mistake again. We want to make history. Islam is very tough, deserving all the respect in the world. He's evolving immensely, but I have a dream. I want to become champ again. I want to continue making history, showing the kids from the favela that if you truly believe in something, you can win in life. We are here to break records, unquote. So this is a bit of a different demeanor than what Oliveira showed in the lead up of their first fight, where Oliveira actually was talking a little bit of trash, not too much, not going full blown Conor McGregor, no pun intended on the blown, because the lead up into the Islam first fight, he was saying some stuff. He was kind of upset that Islam said that he wanted to fight in Brazil but then didn't do so. This is exactly what he said. This is before. Quote, "Last time he said he was ready and wanted to fight here in Brazil, and I called BS. They never wanted to fight here, and it's proven once again," unquote.
I'm home. I like to be in places like this. I always invite them to come to my house. They never come to my house, so I knock on people's doors and go to theirs.
When they announced the fight in Brazil, I asked Dana, please, my team is ready, let's go, I want to make this in Brazil.
Por que não aconteceu essa luta no Brasil? Vocês são muito bullshit, vocês falam demais, vocês correram pra caraco. Eu luto contra você em qualquer lugar do país.
Why didn't this fight happen? This fight never happened. It was not meant to happen in Brazil. You guys are just bullshitting all the time.
Let's go, I put the Instagram pictures, first day when you asked the Brazil, I put the pictures in Instagram. Let's go, I want to do this in Brazil.
He was saying a lot of things about, Islam wanted to fight in Brazil. That didn't happen. I'm fighting him in Abu Dhabi because he didn't want to come to my home. If you remember that press conference, that was a time Oliveira seemed a lot more animated, more than anything else they asked him. And the whole thing about Islam and Khabib saying that Islam's gonna ride him like a horse and submit him and prove that Sambo's better than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff like that. There was a lot of mental warfare going his direction, but none of it was actually personal. Islam and Khabib were not saying anything personal about Oliveira. It was all professional about his fighting skill, and that got to him. Some fighters react differently when you attack their skills and what they worked on for such a long time, and it looked like that direction of mental warfare. Of course, Islam and Khabib were not going to attack him personally. That seemed to have gotten to Oliveira a bit, but I ultimately do think that Oliveira was mostly mad about the fact that he fought in Abu Dhabi and Islam said that he was going to fight him in Brazil but didn't do it. But it is great to hear at least that Oliveira's going to have nothing to rely back on in the second fight. There's going to be no excuses. You heard it here on record. He's going to be mentally ready. He's going to be emotionally intact. He's going to pursue him like the assassin that he is. And if he goes and beats Islam Makhachev by fighting a little bit differently, more so how he approached the Beneil Dariush fight, which is what I expected him to look like in the Islam fight, at least approaching it like that, we could come back to the statement about him actually being emotional in the first fight, but not being emotional in the second. If he loses in a similar fashion, none of this even mattered. Emotional, not emotional, Islam is better regardless, right? But if it becomes a close fight, split decision, or it goes into the 5th round and both guys are winning rounds against each other, then we can again come back to the statement of it holding any weight. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we're going to see a different Oliveira this time? Are we going to see a more composed, lethal Oliveira on the outside that we were supposed to see the first time? Or is he going to come out aggressive again, trying to knock Islam out, because that's just generally what Islam's style does to some opponents? Leave in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.